The sky trembles, the ground shakes, and the world holds its breath, because tonight, hope will fight its darkest reflection. Two legends, one destiny, Superman against Superman. A storm brews over the ruined city. Thunder rolls across the skyline as lightning paints cracks of fire through the blackened clouds. Below, towers of steel lie broken, twisted into jagged skeletons of what once stood proud. Fires burn through the rubble, their smoke twisting into the heavens like a warning to the gods. The streets are empty, but the silence is not peace, it is fear. Windows rattle from the pressure in the air, as if the city itself knows what is coming. Far above, a figure cuts through the haze. The cape whips like a crimson banner in the storm. His eyes scan the destruction below, his jaw set with grim resolve. This is Superman, the guardian of Earth, but tonight his heart is heavy. He is not here to save the city from an invader. He is here to face something far more dangerous himself. A shadow tears through the clouds, descending with fury. Another figure lands upon the shattered roof of a skyscraper, the building groaning beneath his weight. He looks the same broad. Shoulders, iron fists, cape flowing in the storm. But his aura is darker, his presence suffocating. His eyes burn with a crimson glow, not the warmth of sunlight but the fire of rage. This is the other Superman, the corrupted one, born not of hope but of anger, pride, and power unbound. The air between them crackles. No words are spoken, yet the tension screams louder than thunder. One represents the last hope of mankind. The other, a nightmare made flesh. They hover above the city, each waiting for the other to move first. Each knowing that when the first strike comes, the world will never be the same. A gust of wind sweeps between them, tearing loose metal from broken towers. The debris spins like shrapnel caught in invisible currents. Neither flinches. Superman's fists clench. The corrupted one tilts his head slightly, a cruel grin slicing across his face. He knows no restraint, no compassion. He wants this fight. Then the silence breaks. A flash of red cuts the sky as the corrupted Superman unleashes a blast of heat. Vision, it sears across the distance, carving molten lines through the storm. The true Superman moves in a blur, dodging the strike by a hair's width, and rockets forward with a thunderous crack. Their collision shakes the heavens. The first punch sends shockwaves across the city. Glass shatters for miles, buildings sway. Like reeds, they strike and counter, moving faster than mortal eyes could follow. To onlookers, if there were any left, it would seem like the storm itself had come alive, roaring with fire and steel. They crash through the side of a skyscraper. Steel beams bending under the force. The building groans, then begins to collapse, sending a cloud of dust and debris rolling through the streets. But the fight doesn't stop. They explode back into the air, fists colliding with bursts of sound that rattle the bones of the earth. Superman tries to end it quickly, driving his opponent higher into the sky, away from the city. But the corrupted Superman is merciless. With a surge of brutal strength, he twists free and slams his double downward, sending him crashing into the ruins below. The ground splits open, a crater blooming in the heart of the city. Through the smoke, Superman rises, chest heaving. His cape is torn, his knuckles bloodied. Above, the corrupted one hovers like a predator circling its prey, eyes burning hotter, hungrier. The storm grows darker, as though nature itself bends to his fury, and so begins the clash that will decide not only the fate of the city, but the meaning of Superman himself. Is he hope, or is he destruction? Tonight, the answer will be written. In fire and blood. The earth quakes as Superman drags himself from the crater, dust and flame rolling off his shoulders. His breath is heavy, his fists tight, but his eyes do not falter. Above him, the corrupted Superman hovers like a dark star, lightning weaving across the storm as though the heavens themselves fear his presence. For a moment there is silence, just the sound of distant fire and crackling thunder. Then, with the force of a hurricane, the corrupted one dives. The impact splits the ground wide open. Shockwaves blast through the ruins, flipping cars like toys and toppling what remains of shattered buildings. Superman is thrown back, sliding across the rubble, carving scars into the earth with the sheer weight of his body. Before he can rise, his enemy is already there, a blur of fists raining down. Each blow feels like the crack of a mountain splitting. Every strike aimed not just to wound, but to break, but Superman is not unyielding stone. He is will. Through the barrage he finds his opening, catching his double's fist in his palm. The ground beneath them fractures from the locked power of their grip. Their eyes meet, one calm, burning with resolve, the other red with malice and hunger. With a roar that drowns the storm, Superman hurls his corrupted twin into the sky. The battle rises above the city, two streaks of crimson and blue tearing through the clouds. They collide again and again, each clash bursting into light that blinds the heavens. Air itself screams from the force of their movements, leaving trails of fire across the night sky. To those watching from miles away, it looks as if two gods wage war above the earth, painting the storm with violence. Heat vision ignites the darkness. Twin beams crash against one another, red energy grinding in midair, spiraling like twin serpents locked in eternal struggle. The pressure of the beams creates a wave that ripples through the city, flattening what little still stands. Superman strains, his face grim with effort, but the corrupted one only grins. Pressing harder, his power fed by rage. At last, the beams explode in a flash of fire, sending both hurtling backward. Superman crashes through the side of a mountain. Outside the city, stones splintering around him. The corrupted one slams into the earth miles away, carving a trench that glows with molten heat, but neither stays down. From the rubble they rise again, unstoppable, unbroken. The fight is no longer bound to the city, it spreads across the land. Forests tremble as shockwaves flatten trees, rivers split and boil, mountains quake as fists hammer through stone. The world itself seems too fragile to contain their fury. The corrupted Superman seizes his chance, appearing in a blur before his double. His fist sinks into Superman's chest with the force of a cannon, driving the air from his lungs. He doesn't stop. He grabs Superman by the throat and rockets upward, dragging him through the clouds. They break the sky, rising into the upper atmosphere where the stars shine cold and distant. Up here, there is silence. No fire, no storm, just the void of space. But even here, the battle rages. The corrupted one hurls Superman against the curve of the earth, slamming him with such force that the planet shudders. For a moment, it looks as though Superman will fall, helpless against the endless void, but then, in the quiet of the stars, he remembers. He sees the faces of those who believe. In him, Lois, his friends, the countless souls who look up when he soars above their skies. He cannot fail them. He will not fail them. His body surges with strength, his eyes burning not with rage but with purpose. With one mighty burst, he breaks free, spinning around his enemy and slamming into him with unstoppable force. The two Supermen crash back into the atmosphere, re-entering like falling meteors. Flames consume them as they descend, their bodies glowing brighter than lightning. The world watches as two burning gods streak across the heavens, destined to collide once more, and when they hit, the land itself splits. The ground tears open, shockwaves racing across the horizon. A city far away loses its lights, plunged into darkness from the sheer force of the impact. Dust rises, the air becomes fire, and yet still they fight, because this is no battle of men, no fight for survival. This is a war of ideals, a war to decide what Superman truly means, hope or domination. And neither is willing to surrender. The dust has barely settled when the corrupted Superman rises from the crater, his grin sharper than the jagged rocks beneath him. Flames lick at his cape, half burned and torn, but he doesn't falter. His eyes blaze with unnatural fury, and with each step he takes, the ground cracks under his feet. Above, Superman hovers, shoulders heavy, his chest heaving with labored breaths. For the first time, the Man of Steel looks weary. The corrupted one senses it. He can smell weakness like blood in the water. With a blur, he launches skyward, colliding with Superman before he can brace. The impact hurls them across The cityscape once more, skyscraper shells exploding as their bodies crash through steel and stone. Superman tries to counter, to strike back, but the corrupted one is faster now. Stronger now, driven by a rage that never tires. A brutal uppercut slams into Superman's jaw, sending him spiraling into the ruins below. Before he can rise, knee crashes down on his chest, driving him deeper into the shattered concrete. The corrupted one doesn't stop. Fists rain down like meteors, each one a hammer, each one a declaration of supremacy. The ground caves in under the relentless blows until Superman lies buried in rubble, his cape shredded, his face bloodied. The corrupted Superman hovers above the wreckage, his voice a low growl that rumbles through the storm. Though no words are needed, his meaning is clear. You are nothing. I am the future. Superman stirs, forcing his body to move. Every muscle screams in protest, every breath burns. He pushes aside the debris, his hand trembling as he tries to rise. But his double is merciless. Heat vision sears through the air, carving lines of fire across Superman's chest. He cries out in pain, collapsing once more. The corrupted one lands beside him, grabs him by the collar, and drags him across the broken ground like discarded prey. He slams Superman against the ruins of a tower, the metal bending like paper. With cold precision, he lifts him high into the air and throws him across the horizon. Superman's body skips across the earth like a stone on water, leaving a trail of fire and destruction in his wake. The corrupted one follows in a flash, landing before Superman's battered form. He grips his twin by the throat, lifting him effortlessly, holding him against the darkened sky as though he were a mere mortal. Superman claws at the iron grip, his strength fading, his lungs screaming for air. The corrupted one leans closer, his glowing eyes inches away, his expression a twisted reflection of everything Superman fears becoming. Then comes the strike. A savage punch to the gut, one that bends Superman forward, spitting blood. Another to the face, splitting his lip. Another to the ribs, cracking bones. Each hit is a message. You cannot win. The corrupted Superman throws him aside like trash. Superman's body crashes against the earth, unmoving. For the first time in his life, he feels the weight of defeat pressing down on him, heavier than the rubble, heavier than the storm above. He lies still, his vision blurred, his mind spiraling. He can hear distant cries, memories, echoes of people who once called his name with faith, with hope. But those voices feel so far away now. The corrupted one does not wait. He takes to the sky, his aura burning like a red star, and descends again in a final, merciless strike. Superman barely raises his arms before the blow lands. The shockwave obliterates the ruins around them, a wave of fire rolling across the city. When the smoke clears, Superman is on his knees, cape in tatters, body trembling. Blood drips from his lip, dust clings to his skin. He looks less like a god, more like a broken man. And the corrupted one knows it. He hovers above, triumphant, his shadow stretching long over the ruins like a dark crown. He has pushed Superman to the edge, stripped him of his strength, of his certainty. The world itself feels like it is leaning toward despair. The storm grows darker, lightning strikes without pause, and the earth groans beneath the weight of destruction. If there were ever a moment when hope seemed lost, it is now, and yet, deep within the battered chest of Superman, something stirs, a flicker, a spark, small, fragile, but unyielding. He presses his palms against the ground, his arms trembling under the weight of the world. His head hangs low, but his heart refuses to break. The corrupted Superman doesn't notice. He raises his fists, ready to end it once and for all, blind to the fire beginning to rise again in his twin's eyes, because even at his breaking point, when his body is shattered and his spirit nearly crushed, Superman remembers one truth that cannot be burned away. Hope is not about never falling, it is about always rising, and the moment of his rise is near. The storm rages like a living beast, clouds clawing at the sky as lightning veins across the heavens. The corrupted Superman hovers above, hands clenched, eyes blazing, convinced that the fight is already over. Below him, Superman kneels in the ruins, his body broken, his cape shredded into tatters. Every breath feels like fire in his lungs, every movement like knives in his bones. But within him burns something his enemy has long forgotten: hope. Slowly, deliberately he rises. One knee pushes against the broken earth, then the other. He lifts his head, his eyes steady, not with rage, but with clarity. The corrupted one sneers, descending like a predator ready to tear apart the prey that refuses to die. His fist draws back, charged with the power to end worlds. But before it can land, Superman surges upward with impossible speed, meeting him. Head dash on. The two collide in the sky, the impact tearing the storm apart, light scattering the darkness for miles. Their fists clash again and again, each strike a battle cry. The air itself trembles with the force of their dual shockwaves rolling across the horizon. Buildings crumble, rivers split, mountains quake. Yet in the heart of the chaos, Superman's spirit only grows stronger. The corrupted one lashes out with heat vision, twin beams slicing through the air like burning spears. Superman answers in kind, their beams meeting in a clash of searing light. The sky ignites, a fiery dome of power exploding outward. But this time, the balance shifts. Superman pushes forward, step by step through the torrent, his eyes unyielding. The corrupted one strains, his grin faltering. The first flicker of doubt touching his face, Superman roars, his beam overwhelming the others, the explosion throwing them both apart. Smoke fills the air, but Superman bursts through it first, striking with a flurry of blows faster than lightning. Every punch is driven by memory of the people who believed in him, of the children who wore his symbol, of the world that still needs him. Each strike lands like thunder, battering the corrupted one backward, tearing through his arrogance, his fury, his darkness. The corrupted Superman staggers, his body reeling, but desperation fuels him. He lunges forward with a savage strike, catching Superman across the face. They spiral into the ground, tearing a canyon through the earth. Dust clouds rise, fire roars, and for a heartbeat the world disappears in chaos. Then silence. Through the haze, two figures stand. Superman, battered but upright, fists raised, eyes locked. The corrupted one, swaying, blood seeping from his lip, his power faltering. He snarls, summoning every ounce of strength left in him, and charges for one final blow. Superman does the same. Their bodies streak forward, two comets colliding in the storm. The impact is cataclysmic. A blinding light splits the sky, a roar louder than the earth itself. For a moment, the world seems to stop. When the light fades, only one remains. Standing, Superman, chest heaving, stands tall. His fists drop slowly to his sides as he looks down at the broken figure of his corrupted self lying in the rubble. The battle is over, but there is no triumph in his eyes, only resolve. He kneels beside his fallen double, lifting him gently, refusing to abandon even the darkest reflection of himself. The storm begins to clear, moonlight breaking through the shattered clouds, washing the ruins in silver light. The city, battered and scarred, begins to breathe again. Fires die down, the wind grows calm. From the distance, survivors emerge, their eyes wide with awe. They see not just the man who fought for them, but the symbol he represents, the truth that even when hope is nearly destroyed, it will always rise again. Superman lifts his gaze to the heavens, his silhouette framed by the clearing sky. He does not speak, for words are not needed. His presence alone is the promise that no matter how dark the night, dawn will always come. The legend of Superman endures.